YouTube. It's been a while since my last video, so I'm just going to make a quick one here. A few things I wanted to discuss. So first of all, I've just released my Journey into the Psyche album, which is my more sort of out there, serious kind of guitar instrumentalism. And secondly, I've just released my random EP number 8, which is sort of like an outtake project that I have going, sort of all the bonus tracks from each project. And the thing that's unique about this is normally I program my bass guitar on my MIDI keyboard, for example, or I write it in a MIDI program like Reason. On this project I chose to actually record my bass myself, and I bought a bass guitar specifically for the project, and had a bit of fun sort of doubling up some guitar riffs. And this is much more reminiscent of how I used to write when I first started playing. I started playing when I was 16, and I started recording when I was about 18 or 19. And I like this approach, you know, it gives me a lot more freedom. If I just write my guitar part first along with the drums, I write the drums first, then I write the guitar part, then I write the bass and just bring everything together. Or I write the drums and then I groove over the drums with the bass, and then I come up with some more funky ideas on the guitar. That's how it worked. So I don't want to go too much into that, but it was a great experience going back to that way of writing. A lot of people have asked me about my setup. Well, I still have a very basic setup. I'm still running Microsoft XP on my computer. I'm still running Reason version 3, and I still have version 2. I'm running Cubase LE, which is at least 12 years old. It came out about the same time as Cubase 3, I believe. SX3, that is. And one program called Zulu DJ, which is made by NCH Software out in Australia or New Zealand somewhere. Great little DJ tool, good for speeding things up without changing the pitch. It does only take MP3 format though, which is a slight disadvantage. I thought I'd talk to you quickly about some techniques. Since my project, I've taken a bit of time off, and I'm taking a leaf out of Rick Graham's book here. I've decided to get rid of my pick for a while, and some things became apparently obvious very quickly. I have no muscle in my fingers, so I've been practicing for a little while. I've found, because actually instead of using the tip of the pick, normally I play with the rounded edge of the pick, and it gives me a more flat dynamic rather than the sort of twangy tone of the pick digging into the strings. Just with the style of music that I'm trying to learn to play fusion. I've always been a rock player, and I'm trying to make the transition into fusion playing, but note choice is not the only thing, you know. Technique plays a huge part of it. And when I discovered Frank Gambale, you know, I wanted to sweep pick everything, and then I discovered Brett Garside and I wanted to hybrid pick everything, and then, you know, I discovered Holdsworth and I wanted to legato everything, you know, just using hammer-ons. And then I discovered other legato players who didn't use that approach, and, you know, then I discovered Rick Graham, who just economy picked everything. And so it's been a wide and varied journey to get where I am. But certainly one thing that I didn't want to do by getting rid of the pick was to throw away everything that I'd already learned. So what I did was I drew a slight fingernail on this finger, and if you imagine I'm holding the pick like this, then I put my fingers together like this, and I can still play all of those licks, you know. Those sort of well, I guess it's kind of a mixture of legato and alternate picking. That's probably more my Paul Gilbert influence, when I discovered there were things I couldn't do, and if I couldn't tap it with the extra finger, you know, I would not pick it and just pick when I change strings, or instead of going up down up down up down, I would pick like 3 up down and then 3 legato, and I found that changing strings suddenly became massively easier. Anyway, getting off the point here. So Rick Graham's done this thing recently where he's got rid of his pick, and yeah, like I said, some things became blindingly obvious. I really struggled with arpeggios. Well, maybe not struggled. I didn't struggle to play an arpeggio up and down straight, but I struggled to sequence the arpeggio, which at the end of the day is what making music is all about. You know, you don't want you don't want your playing to sound like you're exercising all of the time and just doing you know, exercises. So sequencing is very important, and using the other fingers of my right hand definitely allows me to do this in a much more sort of dexterous way. So it does have its advantages, you know. Simply something like going up in I don't know, 3s and 4s. Actually, it sounds a bit clunky there, but you find you get the dexterity very quickly, as you're not feeling the pick with a piece of, feeling the strings with a piece of plastic. You're feeling them with, okay, your nail might be made of bone, but it's still attached to your finger. So actually, you find that you have much better timing because of it, and you can also sort of eliminate the dynamics of it. If that's what you're going for, you can still use, you know, do your alternate picking things and hit the dynamics where you want. But if you're using a few fingers, you find that using the soft fleshy part of your finger as opposed to your nails gives you a more even, you don't want that twanginess, you know, you want that much more even kind of roller coastery sound that Brett Gossett goes on about in his Rock Fusion DVD. Although there he was talking about chromatics, but he was really talking about using these 2 fingers of your left hand and trying to get the dynamics even, and the fact that legato didn't just mean that you only pick when you change string, but that you should pick with your weaker fingers to even out the dynamics, which I think is really important. Other proponents of playing without a pick are people like Jeff Beck, who's a massively underrated guitar player, because these days everybody just goes by speed, you know, how many notes can you play a second, and I'm guilty of that too. You know, I love my players like Malmsteen and John Petrucci, who, you know, alternate pick everything, and I love players like Brett Gossett and Tom Quayle, who are amazing legato players, and Holdsworth and Van Halen, who does the two-handed you know, hammer-on and tapping thing, and Vi, and I love all of that stuff. You know, I try and draw as much inspiration as I can from as many different sources for my playing and for me to learn from. There's always something to learn. Even pop music. I mean, I hate pop music, but when I did my production course, I had to study waveforms, and I chose like Kelly Clarkson and some hip-hop stuff like Eminem and you know, some Metallica, and a bit of, you know, one of each kind of genre, really, to study the waveforms. So there's always something you can learn from everything. And lastly, before I go, because I don't want to blabber on, I want to give a quick shout out to Rick Graham. I know he's been going through a bit of a tough time recently, and I've been there myself, and I've come out the other side, so I know how difficult it is, and we wish him all of the support that we can give him. And go and check out his channel, Rick Graham, here on YouTube. Go and subscribe to his channel and listen to his playing, man. Aside from his mind-boggling, you know, his speed and technique, his note choice is amazing, and he comes up with things that are just inhuman, really. things that we can all be jealous of, but we can also all learn from. So go and do that, and I'm going to sign it out for here. It's Chris Howard. I keep making them because you keep asking for them. Cheers.